Hello, guys. Welcome back. Hope you had a amazing time last weekend, except for the daylight savings time. I know
Hmm.
here in the Chicagoland area, it is so nice. Um,
Yeah,
Speaking of Monday and Sunday, the whole weekend really was just beautiful.
it
Um,
was.
Now it's kind of back to 40s, so it's like, bummer. But hey, enjoy it while it lasts. It gives us excitement on what's to come. Diego, how are you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm excited for the nice weather after this. What is it? Third winter. Kind of sucks it wasn't next weekend though. I'll actually be there in Chicago this weekend for St. Patrick's Day, and it's not looking anywhere as nice as it was this weekend, unfortunately.
So last forecast I saw was like 30 degrees. I'm not sure if I'm gonna go out to the parade or not yet. But yeah, 30 degrees Saturday. Rough to have the river turn green. That is not fun.
But I'm gonna check it if my phone wants to help me out here. Please, I just want to see what the weather's gonna be like.
Oh, and we're getting a bad thunderstorm today. All right, cool, fun. That's what I wanted to see.
Nice. Possible snow, but at night. All right, so the high is 37 degrees with a feels like high of 30 degrees in Chicago on Saturday. I love that.
Feels like we're talking like 3 point field goal percentages. Like we're guessing on
Yeah,
a random like basketball player here. All right. Anyway, we
messed
got
up.
sidetracked for a bit. There's basketball going on. It's playoff
Yeah.
pushes. Jason Tatum's back. Wemby looks unstoppable. Oh yeah, SGA hit a game winner. There's so much to dive in, and I'm still trying to fully focus on basketball. But NFL free agency said no, we're not doing that. We're gonna give you like 116 different updates, which have
Yeah.
significant implications, all in one day slash two. So okay, yeah, Push and I have a lot to talk about. But since you're here, Diego, now
Yeah.
playoff push is here. We're seeing teams like compete. Where I think we have to have a separate conversation about the East now because we talked about it last week. How is
Hmm.
Jason Tatum going to impact the Celtics? Well, he impacted them in a big way. Before
Yeah.
we get to that, we'll do a bit of film study, but that is a big storyline point that we cannot ignore coming out of Boston. So,
Hmm.
without further ado, let's dive into the tape and let's get this
Yeah.
rolling.
Let's do it.
Alrighty,
All
Diego, your
right.
guy, Luis Santos,
Yeah.
having a stellar performance filling in for Steph Curry. You were talking about how you're mad your guy Tyrese is out for 6 weeks now. Steph Curry being out is hurting my team so much. But this guy for the team, oh yeah, welcome back, Steph Curry. Um,
Yeah.
Absolute playmaker. Just have to highlight what he's been doing lately for the Warriors.
Yeah. No, he's balling. All we were talking about was the last time or the time before, just that high IQ play, being able to be a ball handler really when no Jimmy, who is what is it, Spencer, Pat Spencer. It's just him, Pat Spencer,
Yeah,
Pajemski really cooking. It's just so this Warriors team feels so weird, but I honestly thought Steph Curry had been waived, so I'm surprised to see him back. But that's good for him. So he's just balling. I think he dropped like 25 fantasy points in our league. That's like really good. That should be like 50 in like the ESPN leagues. If you want a point of reference.
yeah. I
Really
mean, there's
good.
a lot of discussion on what the Warriors are going to look like after Draymond and Steph because Steph is going to be 38 in about a week, and
Jeez, yeah,
Mike Dunleavy has been like discussing this a ton, and you got to think about the players beyond it. So it's obviously it sucks they don't have Kaminga any longer, but
mm-hmm.
you have to look at players like Santos and be like excited for what they're doing. So yeah,
Yeah,
it's to see this coming out like a bright spot for the Warriors' future. Definitely, definitely excited to see that.
yeah, could be good. They're pretty young anyway, so
All right. I don't know how
yes,
he keeps getting not talked about enough, but um, number one pick, Paolo Banchero, has been absolutely cooking since he's returned to the lineup. Look at his last 10 game stats. He is
yeah,
just completely playing with confidence. It's a number one trade in basketball. Like he seems like there's games where he's just absolutely taking over like the court. He's the best player on the court by far. And there's a little bit of Kawhi to his game where he's just like he just brings this aura when he's playing where it's like
Yeah.
it's hard to contest him. So that's the best way to describe it. Like it's just like he wins in a very simple but dominant fashion. And that's what
Yeah.
stands out to me.
I mean, he's just gigantic, right? He's kind of like a brick wall running at you. It's funny because recently, maybe last week, I saw a video from Daniel Lee. He's a pretty good YouTuber on this type of stuff, and he's saying, I think he was saying how Paolo is one of the another confusing player, to where he kind of has to create on the offensive end, but his shot is here and there. Sometimes he's not super athletic to get by you and lay it in, but he's big enough to get in the paint, as we've seen here a few times. And so it's good that now, I think I heard on a podcast that he's been driving more, which is big, right? Because he is a big. And it's just weird because he's kind of a center. He's a center with these guard skills, but unlike Giannis, unlike Evan Mobley, he's not as quick, but he's just big. Like he's more Zion than Giannis, you know? And the shot kind of goes along with that. I mean, for all of them, it does. So it's just very interesting. And I don't know, like that player we saw in the first round of 2024 against the Cavs, I think he dropped like 40 points in one of those games. Like that guy feels weird that we're talking about this Paolo and that Paolo, and they feel like different people. I don't know what's changed, but maybe they just need more shooters around him. I think Franz is still out, but interesting team, these Magic.
I think when you watch him when he first came to the league, he's having a hard time like just finishing and like finding good to the basket. Now when you're watching him in the second half of the season, you're seeing him play with the confidence, and that's what's standing out. I don't think there's anything that massively changed in this game. I think it's just a mental, like he's seeing it now, and like you look at the rebound and assist numbers, like that's a pretty good indication of like court awareness.
Yeah.
And you're seeing a couple of these where he's taking some ill-advised shots. They're not great, but then you're also seeing his awareness stand out, and that's the biggest thing. I don't think there's anything in his game that massively changed.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's all it takes to have like outrageous numbers.
Yeah, and getting the passing going, that's going to be critical.
Especially when you invested so much in a guy like Desmond Bane, you have to utilize the guys around you.
Makes sense. That was a nice one.
All right.
Yeah.
We have to talk about this after last night. This guy, we'll talk about it later, but like he might be playing the best of like in his career, and he just won MVP last season. Like that last shot, he just freaking shucked it up. Denver was playing really solid defense towards the end. Jokic got clocked in the face again towards the end. That's rough, but absolutely unstoppable, like playmaking and scoring from SGA. What do you got? Do you have anything more to say about SGA?
I guess the biggest thing is being able to get those 15 assists, right? That's something that for the past few years I was like, he's great and he can score, he can do whatever he wants. And even last year, it wasn't that he wasn't a good passer, but it wasn't that often. He could just score. He didn't need to do it. And now that he is the MVP, everyone's kind of doubling up on him. The ability to make these passes, and I think I saw in these clips, like he drives in the paint, he gets people to turn their heads, turn their bodies towards him, and give the guy they're defending space, right? And it makes sense because you got to pay attention to the MVP of the league, but it just makes your whole team more dangerous. I mean, on that play, guy pulls up or goes to help and just instant pass to the corner. I think that's really the next level. I've talked about that with Giannis. We see it with Jordan when he gets to the three-peats, LeBron as well. I mean, LeBron was always passing, but it's just another step into being that like greatest player in the world, which is a whole debate now after last night on all the podcasts. So yeah, it's great to see further development.
Yeah, I loved Michael Jordan's response to it because that is the only response it can get. Like, our opinions on who we think of the GOAT differ, but they're opinions, and that's it. It makes for a fun basketball discussion. And at the end of the day, you do want to appreciate the players that come and gone, past and present. relative to what you do see them play. I think the one thing that stands out about SGA, like you said, is the playmaking,
Yeah.
and they're missing a lot of their key core guys. Like Chet
Yeah.
Holmgren is like in and out of the lineup. J-Dub
Hartenstein.
still hasn't come
Oh
back in a while.
gosh, yeah.
Hardenstein, like the only guy that's been consistent is Dort pretty much. And the fact you put up his assist numbers like 15 is just it speaks to one, the depth of the Thunder roster, but also the unselfishness out of SGA that we're seeing, despite like when you see him on the surface, it's a very score heavy like machine. And
Mhm.
yes, he does that, as it's evidenced by the 35 in the game winner. But you're seeing there's a lot more to his game that he's able to tap into as a result of that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's big. I mean, right, you can be the best player on the court, but if you're just shooting all the shots, you're not as dangerous as if you were passing it to your guys. The whole team isn't as good. So yeah, big step up for Shea.
Right. Yep. Um, big
Yeah.
step up, Wemby. Like, is there anything this guy can't do? Get that out of here, my guy. Like, this podcast is a Wemby love fest, but talk to me about what you're seeing against the Rockets team that might be the only team to stand a chance against Wembanyama with the amount of size they have top to bottom, but they don't have the alien that's him, and that was evident early on.
And it's just seeing the past few weeks, watching him in Detroit, and then hearing about how well he played in against Detroit and San Antonio. It just feels so inevitable that in the next 2 to 5 years, it's just gonna not even like we're gonna go back to like a 17-19 or like what was it? Yeah, 17-19 Warriors, but it isn't artificial. It's just this guy takes up so much space. It literally, and I think on the first highlight of these on this tweet, I think it's Reggie Miller saying, yeah, it's like daddy playing with the kids. It is because he's just that much bigger than everyone else. Like I've been seeing these videos of his dad playing like 1v5 against his kids in an indoor like 6-7 foot hoop. And it literally looks like Wemby playing because he's just so much bigger. He takes up so much more space and he's mobile enough to take advantage of it. Like Ralph Sampson, George Merson, like some of these Manute Bol, like those guys are big and tall, but they
Wemby
weren't
on Reed
mobile
Shepard
enough.
in that last clip was criminal. That's
Yeah,
you can't allow that to happen. Come on.
it's insane, and I'm
But
just
but you should have seen him neck to neck, like head to head with like Kevin Durant, like when Durant was guarding him.
yeah, yeah,
Durant looks tiny, and like
hmm
Durant was the praise because he was a 7 footer with like a 7 foot wingspan and like had handles like a guard. And like Wemby is like the next iteration of Durant, like where
yeah.
he's just like absolutely everywhere. You think he's one way, and next time he's just like doing like no look blocks. It's just completely video game numbers. And um, with the talented roster that San Antonio has around him, on top of that, I 100% agree with you. He's gonna win not one but two championships at some point in his career. Like,
And that's low balling.
I mean, he has to stay healthy, but
It's
there's no
true.
reason not to. Like, there's no reason why they're not able to with this kind of talent. Like, who does this at 7'5"?
Yeah. No, and there's even like Boban Marjanovic said that Wemby's taller than him, and Boban is 7'5". So like, it's baffling and it's scary. Like I was telling a friend, I think last week or 2 weeks ago, it is like it feels inevitable. It feels like we're in this like golden age of parity, and we're about to lose it, at least for the top spot. So we'll see. And a lot of defensive DPOYs coming his way, especially this year if he can stay in the games. I think he's still eligible.
Keep our
Wild.
fingers crossed. One of my favorite role players, Benedict Mathurin, had himself a game against the Knicks.
Mm.
This is a crazy game because the Clippers just could only shoot threes to start this game. Like
Yeah.
it was kind of crazy to see, but yeah. Fun fact: he leads the league in bench points since joining the Clippers. So
Really.
yeah, a big piece of what they're trying to do, and we'll see if the Clippers can continue to fight to get to the play in the playoffs with this kind
Yeah.
of new iteration of the Kawhi Clippers.
I think just as is, it already feels like a good trade for both teams because right, the Clippers needed to just reset, and they had nothing on their books. They had no contracts on their books going into next summer. Just max flexibility, start the new era. And yeah, you didn't get exactly that with Garland and Mathurin. That you have some commitments, but these are two younger guys, and who cares about the rest? And if they get this what was it? This 4 through 9 pick that they have from the Pacers, if that pick lands for the Clippers, that makes them instant huge win because they'll get a player that's young and will help their timeline. So
in a deep class,
yeah.
in a deep class, man.
No, number 9 in this class is definitely gonna be better than what was it last year's? No, then 24 is like then Risa Shea even you could say, not Castle. Maybe he's Castle or Reed, maybe not, but I mean Alex are too. So let's say top 3 from 2024. Those top 3, like number 4 in 2024, would not even break the top 10 this year. Like I think that's just facts. It's pretty insane. So I'm excited to see. The Clippers could be on a good trajectory.
Dare I say, Keaton Wagler, you were a
Yo.
Los Angeles Clipper.
No. I don't think I need him to go somewhere where he will shine. I need that.
You don't want him to go to LA? Are you kidding me?
They already got
Beverly
2 guards.
Hills? Like what other better place will he shine at?
Guards. You need to go somewhere where there isn't already a guy as the point guard.
Okay, but we just talked about San Antonio, my guy.
Yeah.
Okay. Like how many guards do they have?
It's true. They have 3 guards.
So
you still need only 2 start.
Would you rather have Wagler or Mathurin? As much as I love Mathurin, or Garland, I'm telling you.
Question.
I'm telling you, I think Wagler has a higher upside than either of those dudes.
Than Garland right now, for sure, because of the injuries. Mathurin's too much of a loose cannon. I think that's the only thing. If he wasn't like so hot and cold in those finals, I would think he's better than Wagler. But yeah, I'd agree with that. Me biased with my jersey here. I'm telling you, man, I'm nervous for March now. I had 12.
Why?
Was it because Illinois had a 12-game winning streak and then just fumbled, lost to Wisconsin, UCLA. Could have been a 1 seed, but neither here nor there. Just gonna see.
I'd be worried about Michigan, man. Michigan's the team I would look at.
Yeah, Michigan. I mean, Duke. That's probably who I'm picking. Like in my just no thoughts, who I'm gonna think is winning bracket. But yeah, I mean, I make an Illinois wins bracket every year, and then now that I know more, maybe I'll be more dialed. But yeah, Duke, Michigan, those are pretty obvious teams that could win it.
A team that's becoming more and more obvious to win the NBA Finals, or at least get out of the Eastern Conference. Yeah. We're looking at the Boston Celtics. We had kind of thought like, okay, Jayson Tatum could help the Celtics a bit. We're not expecting him to be 100%. What ways could be help? And I brought up like Derek White, kind of K'd up, but the other pieces around that have benefited from Jayson Tatum.
Yeah.
Holy moly, we did not see this coming.
No.
Jayson Tatum is absolutely kind of turned this team into like they're winning the East in my mind. Very early on, in fact, and yeah, let's build up. Well, let's show a little bit of the tape. I know you wanted to send me this, but yeah, I mean, 20 points in his first game back, not bad at all. But I think it's the way. Or sorry, second game. But like the way he looked, like even in the second game off an Achilles tear, just so confident.
Yeah, man.
Absolutely incredible. So
whatever they injected him with, bro, I need some of that. Like that is crazy. Like it hasn't even been 10 months, I think, since he got injured. And he's playing in an NBA game and scoring 20 points on good efficiency. Like it's nothing. This is crazy. And I was just actually just listening to the Zach Lowe show, and they're talking about how, yeah, I mean the Celtics were good last year, and they ended up losing this to New York. Even before Tatum went down, they were gonna lose, and I don't disagree with that. But I think this year they're even better because last year they had Tatum and Brown, and that was their thing. Those were their main guys. But this year they've had to lean a bit more on Brown, but make everyone else play just as good. Work with not as good players and get better from there to the point where now you add Jayson Tatum and he gets to be who he needs to be with a coach like Joe Mazzulla. This could be a dangerous team. I think they're more flexible than they were last year, and they're not going to chuck up you go like 25 of 100 over 2 games in that Knicks series. So what is this one?
Yeah, one clip I don't think you saw this. You're seeing this for the first time. Is even off the ball, he's such a threat. He cuts to the elbow and then the free throw line, and that opens up a direct baseline cut for Derek White. These are the types of things you got to watch out for with the Celtics. Like if you're running off-ball actions for your star player, and he's able to go full speed like that, enough to sell defenders going after them, like look out, because as you mentioned, I think the Celtics are better equipped to be more well-rounded this year than they were last year. It seemed like last year was kind of like the wheels were falling off and like they were trying to get in their own ways, and now they seem to have a new sense of momentum, like motivation factor, and you love to see that out. So I largely agree. I had thought the Cavs were the team to beat, and they were itching that as the closest contender to Detroit. Now I think it's just Boston and the Pistons, like neck and neck, and I would give the Boston Celtics a slight edge just because of all the different offensive ways they can get involved, and the Pistons, until further notice, are one army wrecking crew. So it's tough. But where do you have the Celtics among the East?
I mean, right now they're second, and I think have they made more distance to the Knicks? I think it like I agree.
They're 2.5 games away from the Cavs. 2.5 games from the Pistons.
No, but I mean, from 2 to 3, I think they made the Celtics have made more
they're
space.
3 games up now. I wasn't sure what it was before, but that's because the Knicks have lost 2 straight in the process. So
and it just goes back to my point. I'm always gonna harp on these Knicks is that you have 2 like defensive weaknesses, and I don't think you can play your way out of that in any way. And the Cavs, they're good, but it just doesn't feel real. And maybe I'm hating, but I think I agree. It's Detroit, Boston, and just the way Detroit has played without Star Thompson. You would think that might help because you might get more shooting on the court, and it has actually hurt them a lot by getting smacked around by the Pistons. I think last week, or at the Spurs last week as well. Just not looking good in this. I mean, losing to a Nets team where you let Michael Porter Jr. drop 30 on your head, like that is not something a number 1 seed should be doing. And losing the next night.
Yo, man, MPJ is for all of his defensive woes, he's a good talent.
No, he's a good talent, but I'm just saying, you're the number 1 seed. You can't be losing a game to a tanking team like the Nets.
Yeah.
So, especially I didn't get to watch either of those games, but I was like, man, that's a tough loss. And then the next day I see him play Miami. I was like, okay, this is your chance to come back. And no, Miami smacks the snot out of you. Like this it gives me less confidence. So I'm thinking I have a bit more confidence in Boston right now. And the whole question of the shooting for Detroit, I just don't understand what is the move when you got Asar out there, Tobias Harris, who is a good shooter, but why is he not won a championship yet with the Sixers? Because he was never that impactful in that way. So
I think the other thing to think about too is your one true shooter, Duncan Robinson. You're running too much action for him, where it's obvious he's the guy they're trying to get open on paid possessions, and they just don't have enough diversity. With Boston, you see so much. They have Vucevic, they have White, Peyton Pritchard, Tatum, Brown. They could all get their baskets in their own individual ways. They don't know where it's come from until it's too late. And they have this guy named Cato setting off-ball screens for Derek White dunk. You're getting a lot of different looks from the Celtics that are just hard to game plan for, and they have a lot more depth and more offensive coaching efficiency. I love Bickerstaff and I love the way he's
Yeah.
turned around the Pistons, but I just don't see it to that level where Boston is just like something will have to drastically go wrong for them injury
Oh
wise
yeah.
for them to not win the conference at this point. Maybe the Cavs can turn it around, but if I'm looking at them head to head, they just lost the Celtics, and
Yeah.
like when Boston is able to create momentum and go on like 12-2 runs like they did in the first quarter in
Mhm.
that game, like I don't see a Cleveland team being able to stop that like maybe a San Antonio or a Thunder would like at that time. I don't think Cleveland's that type of team. So among the
No.
top four, I think you would have to say Boston. The Knicks are a wild card because they could beat anybody, but they could also lose to anybody. And I
Yeah.
think that's just too much to ask. Like where you were expecting a guy, Mikal Bridges, to show up, and he
Yeah.
absolutely did not against the Clippers. And you cannot have performances like that against a team like Boston.
Man, I've been waiting for Mikal Bridges. He's on my fantasy team. He can't break this 20 fantasy point barrier in the past 2 weeks, and it's just I'm so confused offensively. He's just kind of a role player, and it sucks because in Brooklyn you were like, oh, this guy can defend, he can create a little bit. This is interesting. He's going to the Knicks. This is great. Just nothing. Can't do anything. It sucks to watch, you know. So
And how much did the Knicks pay for him, by the way?
was it 5 first round picks?
It's five. Five.
No,
It's
I was reading an ESPN article and it said like it basically imagine if Katie's shoe was behind the line on that 3-point shot in Game 7 of the Eastern Conference semifinals in 2021 against the Bucks. Imagine Giannis doesn't win a championship there. Instead of getting Cat and Mikal, the Knicks at that point, a disgruntled Giannis, they could have gotten him earlier and basically traded the same thing for Giannis. And obviously
yeah.
they can't make Giannis, they can't like force a trade. They can't. But it just I don't know, man. I don't think this Knicks team get to the finals possible. I don't see it as super likely. But even if they get there, they're getting wiped. I don't care if it was even last year, next year, this year, and they're gonna have questions of what are we extending Jalen Brunson to? Are we gonna extend Cat after this weird wonky season?
Does that pairing work together on the team?
Yeah,
Like
I
that's
would
that's
say
the big
no.
thing in my mind because the way the league is headed now, like as much as I love Jalen Brunson, like I think both are a liability when you're talking about matchups in the playoffs.
Exactly.
Like it's you can't stake three wing defenders around them and then expect them to be like a juggernaut machine on both ends. I don't think it works that way. I think you need defense in your point guard and your center now in order to have a chance. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, I mean, pretty big resounding yes. Jayson Tatum has had a positive effect on the Celtics.
Yeah.
Um, just like we highlighted now at his peak, SGA unbelievable performance like against the Nuggets. I didn't get a chance to watch this game,
Yeah.
but
Me neither.
just going over the highlights now, it's just this is a much watch, especially in OKC. These teams went 7 games last year, and
Mhm.
I'm expecting the same if they match up this
Yeah.
postseason. Um, obviously, you hope Jamal Murray's okay. I think he played yesterday, and he was
Yeah.
fine. But yeah, I mean, down to the wire, great mini comeback by the Nuggets. What is your take on like what SGA has absolutely been doing? And we could talk about the Thunder Nuggets matchup, wherever you want to go here.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. I think Shea kind of everyone's saying right. Shea's closed the door on the MVP. It's his award, and I don't disagree with that. It's a good, it's a great game to have when that's a discussion. But I also, yeah, and especially how injury laden his team was, and yeah, I agree it's gonna be a crazy series, but it depends so much on how are they gonna match up the Nuggets next time? Because let's say J-Dub isn't there, Chet's definitely going to be there. Like they don't have Peyton Watson. They didn't have Peyton Watson in this game. How does he affect this matchup? I think that's one thing, a good question to ask. Are we going to try to somehow like make this work in a way that instead of Christian Brown, you have Peyton Watson? And yeah, Cam Johnson. I think I had him on one of my fantasy teams. I was like, oh, Cam Johnson's great. This is going to be good for my fantasy team. No, nothing. He's given you just laid an egg, it feels like, this season when there's so many expectations on him. If he somehow turns it on in the playoffs, that could be big. I think he's the biggest X factor for the Nuggets because everyone else is playing about at their level, in my opinion. So,
yeah, and that's a big surprising to me because you would expect a guy like him to, for the role he's playing and the guys they have ahead of him, like quote unquote, like Aaron Gordon, Jokic, Murray, like you'd expect Cam Johnson to slide perfectly in the role and like be part of well-oiled machine. So that's a little bit of a shocker. Christian Brown as well too. So yeah, would love to see him. But they do have Bruce Brown back and like a lot of these core pieces part of their championship team. I don't think it's gonna stop them from making it into the playoffs. I do think the matchup can be an issue. I'm sorry, not playoffs, but like deep. I mean, like past the second round. I think they're able to do it unless they somehow match up with OKC within the first round, which I don't foresee that happening. The thing that sticks out to me is how the Thunder have been playing with their depth against like quality teams. Like we were talking about the Pistons just this past week, and how they're still competing. And who's the first year guy or the second year guy that Thunder you really liked?
AJ Mitchell.
AJ Mitchell. They badly missed him, and he is there too. And like they're just seemingly like they have the depth to match up, and it leads me to wonder. Like the only question I have for them is, will SGA be at his best when he goes against the Spurs? That I don't know. Because the Spurs are the only team uniquely matched to go against the Thunder. At the beginning of the season, I would have said put the Rockets in there and the Nuggets, but at this point, like it just seems like it's the Spurs with all these questions we have about the Nuggets, despite only losing by like a buzzer beater 3, like in OKC. Not a bad way for the Nuggets, despite all the questions we have on their roster. So with OKC, yes, I think Shea is playing better than he has last season, which is crazy to think about. But is it going to do that when you got all those Spurs guards, De'Aaron Fox, Stephon Castle, and like Dylan Harper? Is it going to play like that when you have multiple bodies to throw at him offensively and defensively? That remains to be seen. And like, there's nothing you can do about 1B right now, like with the way we just started out the show with talking about him. So, yes, I do think he's playing at his highest, but when we're talking about the Western Conference with the Eastern Conference pitcher, as impressive the Thunder have been, there's one more question they have to answer, and I don't think it will be answered to the conference championship.
Yep, and so if you're the Nuggets, right, you don't want to see a Thunder any earlier than you have to. So let's imagine we know the Thunder are going to be the 1 seed. Actually, well, there's a chance how many games are they? I think they're only 3 games ahead of the Spurs. So let's assume they keep that 1 seed. The Nuggets are currently the 6 seed, which is worrisome, but then they're only a game and a half behind the 3 seed. So if they go on a good stretch and the Lakers, the Rockets, the Timberwolves fall off a little bit, they could take that 3 spot back. But you kind of want to go 3 or 6 because I like their chances a little bit better against the Spurs than against the Thunder, the Nuggets. And so I'm not saying they beat the Spurs handily, but I think they could give them a little bit of a run for their money. And so then you can make it to the conference finals and keep that matchup as late as possible. Because you don't, I don't know. It would I guess it would affect morale maybe to lose earlier, but big, the seed playoff standings position will be important for them.
Well, with that argument, I could say, what about the Timberwolves though? Because I don't know if you want to face the Timberwolves given their their
Yeah.
luck with them, their history. Like that's I almost feel like you want the Rockets and the Lakers. You want to go against KD or
Oh, for
LeBron. As
sure.
weird as that sounds,
I
like
mean, yeah.
like 5, 7 years from now, you wouldn't be saying that. Like you'd be trying your
Yeah.
best to avoid like KD or LeBron, like in the playoffs. Now it's just been a completely different game. But going back to the Thunder, I think the thing you have to realize with them is they're so dominant with SGA
Mhm.
and their team as a whole. Like where in the conference, they're allowing the lowest opponent field goal points per game. Sorry,
Yeah.
107.9. I think they're near the top. Oh no, Denver's ahead of them. But it's
And
only Denver ahead of
offense.
them as points per game offensively.
Okay.
And being 27-6 at home, that matters. That matters. So like if you want to take the 1 seed with a 3 game stretch against San Antonio, you can't let your foot off the gas like you did in the middle of the season. That absolutely
Mhm.
cannot happen. So because if I'm them, I'm trying to see a home field advantage. I don't think they're the runaway favorites that they were last season. That's what I'm trying
Oh
to say.
no.
So
Nope.
that's that's something where like this is a great win, but don't let your foot off the glass. You just all you did was just remind the Nuggets that you're not frauds from last season.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a weird dynamic being seen. Okay, SGA is playing his best, but the Thunder don't have a better chance to go to the finals. You'd think those would be kind of linearly related.
Yeah. Yeah. It's gonna be a great playoffs. That's all I know.
Alrighty. I guess before we head off, I'm looking at some of the bubble teams right now. I was just thinking about this at the moment.
Hmm.
Do you think it's set in stone for the East with Miami, Philadelphia, Atlanta, and Charlotte where they're at? Currently, there's a 4 game gap
Yeah.
between the Hornets and Milwaukee for that final play-in spot. Do you think
Yeah.
that's locked and loaded? Any movement you
Said
see there into the
4 games.
top 6?
The Heat. I mean, the Heat are tied with the Magic in
Right.
games behind, 1 game away from 5. The Heat
And
are
they have
on
more wins, by the
fire.
way.
Oh yeah. But the Heat are on fire. They've won 5 straight, 8-2 in the last 10. I think that's the hottest streak of anyone in the league now, second hottest. But still, they're very hot. I think I said last week that don't be surprised if the Hornets can make it up into the higher ends of the play-in, maybe the 6th seed. They've lost 2 straight, so that doesn't help. But I want to see what their strength of schedule is. But I want them to do better. But I guess they're kind of just where's strength of schedule? Here we go. So the Hornets are 13th in strength of schedule, which is not ideal. So yeah, I mean Miami's 2 spots lower, Orlando 14, Atlanta 19. So the 76ers I think are gonna drop a few spots. No Embiid for who knows how long. Paul George still out with the suspension. And just today, my sweet Tyrese Maxey is now going to be reevaluated in 3 weeks. Like, what the heck, bro? They said 2 games. He's going to be out 2 games. And it turns into 3 weeks. So maybe they just drop. Maybe they just sink like a boulder and stick to that 10
I don't
spot.
know if they're gonna sink to the level of like 6.5 games though.
Who knows?
I think they might go to a 10. Like yeah, that's unfortunate news, but I don't know if they're gonna. They have a lot there that I don't think they're at risk, but those are a lot of players out. That's not ideal with the current season's up. But again, with 10 more games to go in the season, the whole conversation might change. So, yeah. What about the West? Because there's a similar gap between the Trailblazers and the Grizzlies right now, and we just talked about the
Yeah.
3 through 6 kind of being at the same like spot. Do you think the Suns or the Clippers have a chance to jump up into the top 6 because both are on 2 game winning streaks?
Yeah, I don't know. it just feels. I mean, the Nuggets are the 6, right? But
Yeah.
any of those 3 through 6 teams can really fall. It would take some really, and I would say this only of the Timberwolves, the Rockets, and the Lakers. It would take some terrible play, some absolutely disastrous, dastardly, terrible, ugly play from either of those any of those 3 teams, to have the Suns get into the top 6 or the Clippers. The Lakers,
Clippers
I could
are
see.
5 games behind, so it's an even harder steep decline.
Yeah.
But I will say this: Reeves, Luka, and LeBron together have not played as well as people think. Like
Yeah,
Reeves and
yeah.
Luka together have played better than the combination of 3, which is probably the most surprising statistic I found this season.
I mean, it's not surprising when you think of it as those guys are 3 great offensive players, but I don't want to say 3 holes. They're all holes on defense, but they're not the best defenders. And then you just have
Wait,
2
your
guys.
goat? Your goat's not a great defender?
My goat at 41 years old is not a good defender. That's all I gotta say.
Got it. Okay. Just wanted to hear you say that out loud. Got it.
I got a poster of the block here in my crib, so maybe I should take my camera there and be like, that goat, that guy, excellent defender. All A's on 2K. I'm pretty sure.
Well, if he hadn't been aided by Draymond Green being a nutcase, then
it's also true. But
hey, wouldn't be a conversation. But hey, all right, just having fun here. All right, we'll let you guys go. We know you're anxiously awaiting the Celtics and the Spurs game. Should be a good one. Tune in if you're able to. Also, tune into our Mono Mission podcast episodes on YouTube. Full length videos are there. Our Instagram channels are on that A.Mission. Any questions, comments, or concerns, you can let us know. And until then, see you later. Enjoy the games and look forward to March Madness.
Yeah, getting close. Have a good week.